I didn't know it when I grew it, but it was impossible to grow. I didn't realize that this corn just did not grow out ears properly because the tassels would come out too early, the ears would come out too late, and it was because it was photoperiodic, meaning that it was used to less light because it was from South America. So this corn, the reason I was able to grow it was because I heard that it was photoperiodic, and I didn't know that no one had been able to grow it properly. So I just was like, oh, so it needs less light? Well, I've seen things happen with less light by putting things in shade, because it wasn't hours, it was how much energy from the sun. So I put it under an oak tree in the shade, on a shady side of a hill, and it grew really well. It grew like 16, 20 feet tall. And I was the first to get ears of it, and I open pollinated it, and no one could. I mean, here we have a flat surface, so I can get up there and dust things and do a couple things here and there. I've got a kind of an unsafe ladder, but at least I have a ladder. But on the hill I had it on originally, it was all open pollinated. It stayed true to seed, and it's absolutely incredible. It even retained the grenade, you know, the cone, pine cone squat shape. So this is truly a fantastic moment if you're a corn person. My dad is from Iowa, and my father-in-law is too, so there's something corny going on. I just love it. I'm really about bringing back the genetic refreshers that we had from Latin America, that we used to have, because all North American corn comes from Mexico and Peru, from the cultures, the Triple Alliance cultures that were focused around plant breeding and seed saving, and still are. And so these are from that culture. These are from Peru, and these are from the Peruvian highlands, the highland valleys actually, and from 9,000 feet. And the reason that they grow so tall is both the sun issue and because the water. When you handle water as a plant at high elevation, you manage it differently. And so when you go down to lower elevations, you can't handle water. And so you tend to have like water growth, which is what a lot of what you see here. And actually, we can see that really clearly between this, because we've got the sunny plants, and then we've got the shady plants over here. And you can tell the difference because of the height and the color. So the cells formed and the body of the plant formed slower, so the green is deeper. So this is, you know, all spread out. It's a lot of quick growth. But look over here. Look how dark this is. And look how short it is. This plant is so short, it's almost normal to what it is when it's back in Peru, because it's in the shade. And you can also see that the coloring on it is almost black. So the purple on it's almost black. I can feel the seeds that are fat inside. I could eat this, but I don't want to. So when I first got these seeds, they were 40 cents a seed from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed, and they weren't adapted. They were fresh from Peru. So I don't even know what to price these at, but they're priceless to me. And so they are white seeds with purple speckles, and I've got two kinds of speckles. I've got these really fine speckles that have a white or yellow background, and then I've got really blotchy, bigger speckles. And that's because I adapted two land races at the same time, because I reasoned that if they were able to exchange with each other and combine each other's genetics, that they'd have even more options, and they'd also stay true to seed, or truer to seed. And because these are land races that grow up around other land races, that's how these are grown. And they're also open pollinated. So I let them do their open pollinated thing. I grew Cuyo Chuspi, and I grew Piscarantu, and these two corns were what I have now, and I've actually had their genetics influence the other corn that I'm growing, the Painted Mountain flower corn, and it's not been the other way. We see that the stronger genetics influence the other plants. And I saw this when I was breeding squash, open pollinated, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're just gonna mix everything?" And it's like, huh? I actually, it reveals the dominant genetics. And if you're like, "Oh, it all turned into gourds," it's like, yeah, you probably had heirloom gourds, and not heirloom, you know, or as old or as vibrant genetics. And maybe it's because the gourd was more ancient, more wild, that it dominated. I mean, there's a lot of different things that go into this, no doubt. But I've seen that there are certain things that like are just genetically like encyclopedic compared to the other plant, and the other plant just like is like, okay, I'm now you, you know. It just like takes on the genetic palette and it's like, oh, I'm a landrace now, and it dominates out that unique characteristic that that thing had sometimes. And it may absorb that characteristic that was good. It may lose it in mutation. There's a lot that goes on, but what I found is that you have these plants that lead, that dominate, that have strong influence over the others. And the Peruvian landraces are definitely that. So this is seed that I hope to start sharing soon, that I hope to start selling even soon. But that'll take a few seasons of scaling up. But this is very promising right here. So stay tuned, get excited. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. And save heirloom seed. Grow what people say is impossible, because the impossible is possible if you apply permaculture. Sometimes. It depends.